Hello, everyone. Welcome back to What's the Rate, the show where we get into the raw and real of pursuing creative success as a self-funded indie artist in New York City in your 20s. I'm your host, Breon Lyons, and today I am with writer, director, and first AD, Rebekah Strauss. Hello.
That was really good.
Welcome to What's the Rate.
Thank you for having me.
Great. So tell us about you.
Oh my God, about me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give like the usual... I'll give like the resume spiel, but I am a writer, director, first AD. I went to NYU. I graduated back in 2022. When I was there, I studied dramatic writing in Tisch, which was very awesome because I was always drawn to film, and then just kind of like knowing that this is a career that I could pursue, that this is a real thing that I could do and be a part of, was very, very eye-opening. And I always loved writing in various other aspects of my life, and I loved literature and reading, and you know, that was the part of filmmaking that I was really drawn to initially. And then throughout my time at NYU and in this major specifically, I was like, oh, I'm in my room alone a lot writing, which I love. I love those moments in life. I would say I'm a pretty big mix of like introverted and extroverted. So there are times in my life that I really, really turn into myself and I get really reclusive and I go into my room and I like to have my time alone. But then there are other moments in my life where I love being around people. I love working with people. And I had a lot of friends who were in the film major, and I would see them, and they were in like Sight and Sound Studio and whatnot. They were making their films together and being in groups. And I was like, God, that looks like so much fun. And beyond the writing, obviously, there's the making of movies. There's a whole production aspect, and that was kind of like my next stage of like kind of demystifying what filmmaking was for me. It's like, okay, movies get written by somebody, they get directed by somebody, and then there's a whole crew. You know, when you watch the end credits, you know, hundreds of people involved in making this lovely thing. I just crashed into the mic, sorry. But there's, hundreds of people involved in making this one product. And so I started really trying to get onto sets, and I found what my natural role was ADing. I'm not super technologically savvy or you know, that was the role that just came natural to me. Growing up, I was in a lot of extracurricular, like student leadership. I was a camp counselor. I was like a babysitter. So when it came to ADing and like managing a set and running a set, that kind of felt very natural to me because I had a lot of that experience growing up and doing the things that, you know, I did outside of school. So it felt like, okay, you know, moving the kids from one program to the next and making sure they eat on time and making sure everybody gets home on time. So that was a role that I kind of naturally fell into. And I kind of snuck my way onto sets as a outside major and just started kind of like getting on with different people, getting recommended. And then when I got out of school, I'd kind of built up my resume enough that I could start applying for like real jobs and getting onto some like indie stuff. I remember my first summer out of school was like the hottest indie summer of my life. Like,
oh, really?
Just like back to back, like just shooting in different people's apartments. And if you know this experience so well of like, you have to turn off all the AC because we're running sound. So you're stuck in like a hot apartment for like days on end, just like shooting these little projects. So, my first feature was like I'll say quote unquote feature. It was like a 60-page film that we shot over the course of 8 days. Like that was like my first big gig out of school that I got paid for. And I was really excited about that because I could then prove to my parents that I was like, hey guys, I can support myself off this. Like I swear you didn't just spend all that money for nothing.
Yeah.
So that was super validating. And then now it's been like 2-3 years since that, and I've just been working more and more on more projects. I've been largely freelance ADing. I write and direct as well, so I've written my own short film, written a few other films for other people. I've directed my own music videos, shot some sort of specky commercial stuff. So
okay,
kind of everything.
Wait, you said music videos?
Yes.
Talk about that.
2 music videos that I directed last year for an artist named Carly Ann, who is very talented.
Yeah.
She is a Puerto Rican artist. We went to school together. Like, you gotta give it up for NYU, honestly. I
You
mean,
really do. Yeah.
You gotta give it up. I mean, not even just NYU, but your school connections.
Your
And I
network.
say this for anybody who goes to film school anywhere, not even just there, but like who you meet in school is like who you will take with you. I work with not even just with her, but like so many other people that I went to school with who I still work with to this day. But she was in the music program. She was in Clive Davis. I remember working with her like freshman year on somebody else's project. And then I saw that she was releasing new music, and the first single that she dropped, I listened to it. I was like, man, this is fire. Like, and I just hit her up. I was like, if you have any other music coming out, like, I'm looking to direct some videos. Like, you know, I would love to collaborate with you. I think you're dope. And she was like, well, I think you're dope. Like, let's like work on something together. And so we shot 2 music videos of hers back to back last summer. And they came out at the end of last year. And it's been great. I mean, she's been doing really, really well. It was such a fun experience. And I'm really proud of those videos.
Yeah. You know, I should tell them how we met.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember me from this set specifically.
Okay, wait.
Dola.
Oh, wait. The Call Me a Liar video?
Yep.
Oh, my God. Wait. Remind me, please.
So I was just one of the flashlight people.
Oh, my God.
But I remember you running that. You were running that set.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I had my eye on you. I was like, I see her doing her thing.
That's so good.
So,
well,
yeah.
thank you for coming and holding your
Yeah.
iPhone flashlight up for us. Yeah. That was really awesome. I mean, that video went to Tribeca, so
yeah.
like, you know, it takes a village. It takes
does.
a village.
Yeah, there were a lot of NYU people there.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, again, like I can't tell you how many people I stay in touch with, and those were people that I went to school with. Again, those 2 directors, Reese and Javensley, shout out Chiron Pictures. The 2 of them are awesome. A lot of people I also met post grad too, which was like, again, just getting recommended through different people was a huge aspect of my, I'll say, quote unquote success.
Yeah.
It's just like word of mouth.
Okay, so talk to me about just like that transition out of college into post-grad, just with the survival aspect of it. So I remember you saying that it was a pretty hot summer for indie, right? But just talk to me about how you pretty much balanced like surviving and living in the city with also, you know, pursuing your creative career.
It's tough. It's a balancing act for sure. I feel like I am just getting to a place now. Almost, what is it? It's 2025. Over 3, probably close to like 3.5 years out of school. I'm just getting to a place now where I feel like the work is like fairly consistent, and like I don't have to be supplementing other sources of income. When I first started out in school, when I first graduated, I still had my lovely on-campus job that I kept throughout the summer while I was still kind of like finding my footing, and I was going on Facebook. Oh my God. And like Facebook is still my most used app because that's where I get a lot of gigs. I was like looking for job postings on Facebook. I was like hitting up everybody that I could. I was like DMing random, just being like, hey, just showing them my film school resume of like, I've AD'd, thesis AD'd on this many things, like this is what I can do, you know. And another, you know, people they'll just take a chance on you. If you put yourself out there, somebody will take a chance on you. But yeah, no, I mean, when I first started out, I definitely had to supplement other sources of income. I had to be working while I was like freelancing pretty regularly. Once the on-campus well went dry, I started babysitting on the side to make extra cash too. During COVID, I worked as a swim instructor. Oh, wow. So like this was this where I'm at right now is like the accumulation of just like everything that I've had to do in the past to sort of get by. It's not easy, like getting to a place where you can just rely on the freelance. You know, it takes a lot of work. And like I said, like it's only now like almost 3.5 years out of college that I feel like, okay, I don't have to babysit. I don't have to have a part-time job. You know, like the freelance is freelancing. But even then, I mean, I know that like like January, February can be a really slow period in the film industry. So that's why like in the fall time now, I really, really try to work hard and like stockpile so that when I know the work is slow in those times, you know, it's not like I'm like like choking for money, obviously. So I think it's just knowing all of those different things, obviously, like having your budget. But I mean, I think it's definitely it takes a while to build up to getting to a place where you can just freelance and just rely on, you know, set gigs. Because there's, you know, when you're just starting out, nobody knows who the hell you are.
Right.
So you've got to build up your network. And that's, I think, the key to having consistent work is having a wide network, having people who know they can hit you up, they can call you, they can text you, you know, and you can fill in a job for them. So yeah, it's taken that time to build up my network, meet that many people, work with that many people to where, you know, I'm getting, you know, multiple gigs a month to, yeah, pay my rent.
Yeah, and survive and do the damn thing.
No, actually.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on that, you know.
Listen, I actually recently read RuPaul's memoir, which I really, really love RuPaul. I mean, obviously they're a controversial figure, but what the commitment and the dedication and how they've navigated through the entertainment industry. And one thing that is so poignant that always sticks with me that RuPaul said was like, if you're gonna be in this industry, you have to be comfortable with the ebbs and flows. And so there will be flowing times where the phone never stops ringing and everybody wants a piece of you, and there will be times where it's like, did everybody just forget I exist, you know? So I think that this career path and this industry and this medium is very, you know, it ebbs and it flows. So you've definitely got to have a strong stomach too.
Oh, a strong stomach.
I think.
So tell me about what you think is the hardest or the easiest thing about doing this type of work in New York City and not LA.
I think in New York there is a bigger indie scene, and I think that it's easier to kind of be struggling a little bit in New York than it is in LA. I mean, listen, I can't, I'm no authority on this. I've only had like a handful of gigs out in LA. But from what I know and what I understand, and especially what I understand of the industry right now, is that LA is a little bit in dire straits. And it's just expensive. It's really, really expensive in LA. Permits are expensive. You know, just getting around is expensive in LA and everything. So New York, you can always get a little scrappy. You can always get a little guerrilla. And that's something that I've always loved about New York is like just how indie you can get. And you can go to a park and set up a camera and whatever. You know, you can grab some friends and just do something and make something. And your money can maybe go a little bit, not by much because New York is expensive too, but your money can maybe go a little bit farther here than it can LA.
Yeah.
But what's tough about New York, I think, is that, it's indie. And all the glamour, I think, is maybe out in LA.
Yeah.
And all of the, you know, I mean, whether, you know, things are changing and things are expanding, but, you know, like, LA is still Hollywood at the end of the day. Commercial is always booming there. All the artists, you know, all the major artists live out in LA, you know, and the studios are still out there, although, you know, we see where that's going. But I don't know. I love New York.
I love New York too.
I really love New York. I love New York. I love just how... just how indie you can get here and how just many homegrown projects there are here. I think that's harder to find out in LA.
So what's your favorite part about what you do?
My favorite part about what I do is that I just love making movies. Okay. I love like truly, like, not to be corny about it, but when they say like the magic of movies, like I just believe in that. And whenever I can see like the cut of a film come together and I just like, I know all the tricks that we pulled off and I know that like somebody is standing right out of frame right there. It's like, it's just so fun. And it's just so fun to execute that magic. And I think specifically being an AD, you get to work with every department. You get to speak to every department, you know, and that's kind of like the one person on set that really gets to do that job.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly growing. I'm constantly putting things in my own repertoire, not only as an AD, but as a director too. Like, and I think that's the other great thing is that in my major and in my teachings, we learned a lot about writing, but we didn't really learn a lot about directing. It was specifically a writing major. So every time I work with a new director, it's kind of like I take little things from them. You know, I take things that I like and obviously don't take things that I don't like. Yeah. And that's always been a blessing to getting to work closely with so many directors and just being able to see how different people work and what works and what doesn't. And yeah, I feel so lucky every day that I get to be like making art and making magic and like doing special effects or doing, you know, whatever, some kind of fight choreography or something, you know, to like make it look real and really sell it. It's like being a professional magician. Tell us about a typical day in the life of doing your craft. Okay, typical day. So from a writing standpoint, I'm always trying to write. I'm always trying to, I think, just reopen Final Draft every day and get back into it. There are times where it's really flowing and there are times when I hit a wall, but I think as long as you're always showing up to the page, like that's the biggest thing that matters. Like right now I'm working on my feature and it's just like, again, just that thing of showing up to the page and just letting whatever comes. Some days I'm writing like 5-10 pages and some days I've written like 2 sentences. But it's that, you know, it's like going to the gym of like, you know, you see progress over time. You don't see progress in a day. And in terms of my ADing, there's a lot of prep work obviously that goes into shoots. The responsibilities of the AD are to put together the schedule, work with the director and the DP to kind of reorganize their shot list that they make and to like an ideal shooting order. Most times, obviously, you don't shoot films chronologically. So, you know, depending on what the logistical needs of the shoot are, we may base it off of location, we may base it off of talent availability, but every shoot is different. Every shoot is like a snowflake, you know, they're all unique and all have their own special requirements. So it's just about kind of breaking all that down and how do we shoot this efficiently? How do we shoot this? I mean, that's the, you know, time is money a lot of times in filmmaking. So one thing I always tell directors and DPs when I'm brought onto a project is, you know, the more prep work that we can put into this, the easier it's going to be when we actually shoot this. So schedule, shot list, my days will be kind of dedicated to putting those documents together, having different meeting with all my department heads and just kind of checking in with timeframes like that. I often compare it to being like a project manager. We're just kind of like getting people through the day, getting them to lunch and everything. But yeah, that usually leads right up to the shoot. Like sometimes there's changes like the night before, but it's a lot of prep work. When I got started, I was very, very lucky to connect with a lot of women in the industry and a lot of strong women. And my first project that I ever AD'd back in film school was with a female director, female producer, and the two of them just I guess I was probably a junior at the time and they were seniors. But I graduated a year early, so we were all kind of in the same year, but they were older than me and they had more experience than me, especially the director. Her name is Eliza Belch. She's amazing. She's worked on like so many huge productions and she just like mentored me a little bit, but also very much trusted me. And I think like I was just so eager to take this role and take it so seriously. And I've always had kind of strong organizational skills. I think she saw that and just kind of like nurtured that and mentored that. And so I was very, very lucky to have just and my producer Samantha Garcia, who's incredible now, who's doing incredible things. Both of them are, but I was so lucky to be paired up with these two wonderful women who were already very hardworking, already had their feet wet in the industry, and now were willing to teach me, as well as trust me with this project. And so I just kind of like absorbed all their energy. And I think I've always been a strong-willed person. I think to some degree to be an AD, it kind of takes a little bit of that. Yeah, I mean, I've worked with how many male director DP duos. I've worked on sets where I'm the only woman on set. I'm the only female department head. I'm the only department head of color. You know, I've been in those spaces, and I think you've kind of got to go in these spaces that you're not going to be messed with, and that you're not going to be walked all over, and that you're not going to be steamrolled. Yeah. And the way that I see it, and the way that I always pitch it is, it's like, listen, you're paying me to be here. Right. You're wasting your own money by not listening to me. And I think that intention is always a huge thing of, it's like, I always come into every project with the intention of wanting to uplift the director's vision and wanting to protect the crew. And I think when you show that intention, that people will see that and respect that. But I mean, yeah, I've been in spaces where I have to fight to be heard between two, you know, maybe a male DP and a male director who are just kind of like having their little boys club moment, and here comes mommy to tell us that we have to move on and whatever. And it's, you know, it's like, it's okay. You know, I don't care. I'm here to do my job. Yeah. And I'm here to make sure that we achieve what we are setting out to achieve, that we do it on time, and that we get people out of here. So I think at this point I've done enough work where my work speaks for itself, and that you have to kind of establish, I don't want to say you have to establish dominance, but you have to establish, that like you're not going to be messed with. Yeah. Or that you have authority here, and that and I think you have to delineate too, because I think there's a lot of ADs that go on a power trip. Like, it's not about you. No, yeah. This is not about you and your ego. This is about getting this film made. And I think always reminding people that too is a huge motivating factor of like, listen, this is, we're spending money, we're making art, like, let's take this seriously. But I think that there's still misogyny. Obviously, it's alive and well in the industry. There's still racism, obviously. And there have been times where I've walked on a set and they're like, "Are you the makeup artist?" And I'm like, no, but you know, like, so again, I feel lucky to be breaking down barriers like this. Obviously, there's people who broke down these barriers before me. But yeah, no, I mean, you certainly have to fight to be heard. You have a voice, and especially if you're in a department head role, like, everything should be in service of the film. And I think that there shouldn't be anything that stops you from that, whether that's people's preconceived ideas about what an AD should be, whether that's people's ideas about women's roles on set. You know, it's like, listen, I'm not here to fit into your box. You know, I'm here to do my job. Especially, you know, when you're in this role and Black women are already known for being loud and bossy and angry. And, you know, that's what you're, you know, trying to sort of not feed into at the same time. Yeah. But, you know, I think, first of all, it starts with just being, you know, pleasant to work with in general. And again, like, coming into it with the right intentions of, it's like, I'm here to support this film. I'm here to help this film get made. Right. Like, that is what I'm here to do. But honestly, the more that I work, I think more people honestly prefer female ADs. Yeah. Because I've been on some sets with some jerky male ADs, and I don't know, maybe it's more pleasant being yelled at by a woman. Oh. Wait, what? Well, I don't know. It's kind of the same way of, like, a lot of male directors use female editors, of, it's like, there is a nurturingness to it. I don't know, maybe it is kind of the mommy thing. Okay. Of, it's like, you have like a female voice here to guide and direct this and kind of like make sure everything's happening. And like, I don't know, there's something very like maternal about it that I feel like I do connect with on some level.
You know, something kind of weird that I heard is that there's a reason why on the subway there's a woman telling you what the next stop is, and there's a man telling you to stand clear of the closing doors.
Interesting.
Because people take direction from men. It's like they trust like demands from men.
Okay.
And when it comes to a woman telling you what to do, it's more so of like you said, the guide. But with the man, it's like, nah. It's more of a boundary. Yeah. Right? So,
yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, it might be the nurturing.
Well, you know, I will say I do kind of feed into that tactic because I think that you do catch more flies with honey, especially when it comes to set. And I don't think that, not even just as like a woman, I think it just as an AD in general, of like coming in and being like, get to work and do this and do that. It's like,
nobody want to hear that.
No, man. It's like,
I don't want to work with that.
No, nobody wants to work. If there's anything I could dispel or any advice I could give is that half of the job of getting hired is just being pleasant to work with. Like that is like half of it, maybe more than half of it. Of like, I think people would rather work with somebody who is maybe a little less skilled but more pleasant to work with, rather than somebody who might be like the best at their job, but they're like an asshole. You know, like I think, and it just comes from the nature of set. It's long hours, it's long days. You know, you could be on a feature with somebody for 30 days, 12 hours with somebody yelling in your ear or like reprimanding you all the time or like going off on this power trip. Like, no, forget that.
Yeah.
Just being pleasant and a pleasure to work with is like will get you rehired 9 times out of 10.
Have you ever had to forfeit an opportunity because you had to prioritize supporting your survival?
Oh, yes.
Okay, talk about it.
Oh, yes. I mean, that's like that. That comes with just like the territory of it's like there's times where I don't know. I think a lot of this job is intuition too, of like knowing what jobs to take and knowing what not to take. I mean, I'm lucky enough to be in a position now that I can turn down certain jobs. If we were talking 2 years ago, probably not. But sometimes things are worth the money, and sometimes it's like I can't do this because I'm gonna do this, and this is gonna pay me more, and I have to like listen, I gotta pay my bills. Like I can't do like I'm sorry, like I have something better, not better, but something that's paying me more came along. I think everybody's experienced that, but I will say sometimes it's not always about the money. And sometimes you will get offered things that are not worth the stress despite what they might be paying you. Or, you know, like I've been on gigs that have just been so terrible, but I took it because it paid. And at the end of the day, it kind of was like, I don't know if this is worth it, honestly. There's definitely times where I've had to just be like, listen, I'm sorry, like I'm gonna be, and like as long as you can find a replacement, I would say like 7 times out of 10 people are pretty understanding of that, like especially these days, like we all got bills to pay. But yeah, no, I mean it's not always about the money. And I would hesitate to be the person to be like, if there's a better job that's paying you more, always take it. Because like again, like you can there's other ways of getting paid. You get paid in connections, you get paid in meeting people, you get paid in networking, you know, kind of stuff. So
you know what I'm interested in? This is not on the cards, but just personally, just what this journey has taught you about yourself. What have you taken away personally from everything that you've been through up until this point with ADing, with writing?
Just that everybody's journey is different. You know, I was talking to my roommate on like before this about like this interview, because I was like, God, I'm nervous because I don't want to like sound like I'm an authority on anything, because everybody's journey is different. And everybody's path unfolds differently. And if there's anything I've learned about myself, it's that finding a balance between like my own personal work and the work that I do for others, you know, just the work in general and my like life with like my friends and relationships and everything like that. Like finding balance is so important to me, because when one takes over the other, you know, it just makes me feel terrible inside. So I think that, especially what I've learned from ADing too, is that it's just like, I don't know, like just staying calm through the tumultuousness of it all. And knowing that like there will always be like an end to this day, you know, like the day will always end. And whether it's been a good day and we ended early, whether it's been a bad day and we went overtime, it's kind of like life. It's just like, you know, there will be periods of life that will be harder than others. There will be periods where you're up, there will be periods where you're down, but just knowing that there's like always kind of like an other side, there's always a way to re-achieve that balance, even if you do kind of fall one way or the other, is always very comforting to me. Because, you know, whether it's one way or another, you know, whether I'm working all the time and it's great, but I'm not really, you know, socializing very much, and I'm kind of just working back to back and not really seeing my family, or not really hanging out with my friends very much, or not really having time to myself to write or to journal or to do the things that feed my own creative appetite. You know, that, yes, you know, it's great because I'm making money and I'm ADing and I'm moving up that way, but I'm also faltering in these other ways of like, I guess what I'm getting is kind of like watering all your gardens, right? And it's important to water all your gardens and to not just dump the whole trough into one, you know, patch and forget about the other patches. So, you know, as great as the work can be, you know, when it's up, you know, I also need to leave time for myself and my personal life. And I think that is something that I'm always trying to maintain, is that balance, or at least achieve it if I've fallen one way or the other.
So what's your relationship with rest?
You know what? You're catching me at a weird time, because I just came off this like 5-day stretch, and over the weekend, Sunday I was on a set. I got home around like 2:30 in the morning, and then I had to be in Midtown by like 5:30 that next morning. So I probably got like realistically, I probably got like an hour of sleep in between all that. And on that next day, I had definitely gotten sick from that set. But on that next day, I was like on a very big shoot, and I was just like totally like, I was like sort of like talent PAing and also like scripting a little bit, and I just like was like nodding off. I was like not feeling well. I could feel myself getting sicker throughout the day, obviously, because, you know, when the lack of sleep also just makes you feel worse. And so that was a moment where, I mean, looking back, like I'm glad I powered throughout the day and everything, but I was supposed to work this week again. I was supposed to work like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I had like called off on that shoot for personal reasons. And I mean, like it worked out for the best. Like I wasn't feeling well. I'm just like now recovering today. And like, but I felt so guilty. I felt so guilty when I had to leave that job, because it was like, you know, well, I feel like I'm disappointing them. I feel I'm such a like overachiever, like not quitter type vibe, and I always feel very bad about it. But that was a moment where I was like, I can't do this. So definitely learning your limits and your bodily limits, especially like this career, it's long days. ADs have like a lifespan of like 40 years. Like I mean, the one AD from Emily in Paris just like had a heart attack and died.
Oh my God.
Like it's insane. So definitely self-care is so important to me. I get massages on the regular. I get cupping on the regular. I go to the bathhouse. I sauna it up. self-care is super, super important, especially with what we do. It's long hours. It's not, I mean, not only is it physically draining, it can be very emotionally draining,
Yes.
depending on what you're doing and what you're working on. Like, it can be a lot.
Yeah.
So self-care is very, very important. I journal all the time, manifest, let it all out, all that stuff.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wait, where are you from?
I'm from Jersey.
Jersey.
Yeah.
You give Cali. Have you been told that?
People say that. People say that about me, but I don't know why. I mean, I'm like a chronic East Coaster too. I've been an East Coaster my whole life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you an Aries?
I'm an Aries.
Okay. Okay.
I'm an April's Aries too.
Okay.
Yes.
So do you have a favorite set that you've been on thus far?
Honestly, this one that I just did over the past weekend was really fun, but it was really fun because it was like just all homies. It was all homies. It was good friends, good vibes.
Yeah.
I was just on a feature in London over the summer.
Ooh.
That was amazing. I mean, I got to be in London, which was incredible. And B, I just love the vibe over there. Honestly, I think what I predict is happening. I think that New York is going to be the new LA and London is going to be the new New York.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm seeing happen.
I heard that London was very similar to New York.
It is. I mean, it's more spread out, obviously, than New York, just because it's bigger. But I liked London. I liked London a lot.
Yeah, I need to go out there.
No, it's dope, and they've got a huge film scene over there.
Really
huge, and a lot of the it's getting because Trump, no, cross out Trump, but because of all these tariffs and everything, a lot of studios are moving internationally. Netflix is building a bunch of stuff over there. They've got Pinewood Studios over there. Like I think it's probably bigger in theater.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. There's a lot of stuff happening internationally.
Yeah. There's this Black actor, I forget his name, but he was saying he did one film here and it was super big. Gosh, I wish I remembered his name. But everybody was like, yo, that film was big. How come you haven't been working? He was like, I'm huge in Britain. What are you talking about?
It's a completely different market over there. Yeah. It's completely different.
Well,
and the acting, like, the average actor in London is like probably like the greatest actor here in New York.
Really?
Like, they've got some real talent over there. But I think it's because they all come from theater too.
Yeah.
They all start in theater and then like come up and then start doing film stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's amazing what they do over there.
Well, is there anything that you wish you knew or a resource you wish you had in the early stages of your career?
I don't know. I honestly feel like I've been pretty lucky in life where I've always had a mentor or somebody guiding me. Not even like a full-blown mentor, but just like somebody that I knew to go ask. I mean, somebody big that pre-NYU was obviously my guidance counselor in high school. My guidance counselor, Miss Marandola, was so integral to me even getting into that school. And I remember I went to her and was like, what do I need to do to get into NYU? And she was like, this, that, and the third act. And I did this, that, and the third act. And then, it all kind of happened. And then when I got to NYU and it was sort of getting ready to graduate, I went to the Student Development Center. I met with, I think her name was Lily Tung, something like that. But I went to her. I was like, I'm graduating soon. How do I make money out of college? She was like, get on these Facebook groups. There's a bunch of Facebook groups. There's a women's filmmaking network that you can join and whatever. Joined all those groups, started finding jobs. So there's always been people that I sought out and was like, how do I do this? And there were always people there ready to be like, this is how you do it. And then I would be like, okay, I'm going to do it. So I think that's a really hard thing too, of knowing what you want, like knowing what you want and being able to know how to go to the right person and ask for what you want. Because I think a lot of people think that like people get luck. I mean, luck is definitely part of it. But it's like 70% putting yourself in the right position and then like 30% luck. So if you can fill up that 70% of like putting yourself in the right position, I mean, it just becomes like a numbers game of like the luck will come. So I feel like I was lucky enough to have people, and then again, like when I was in school, like and then I was ADing, and like I was like when I really wanted to get involved in set, I met those people those two women who were awesome and basically like got me started in ADing. So I feel like lucky that I've been on a path where I've been able to have these like mentors along the way, and they've always been women. They've always been women who have like guided me and given me just like incredible advice, and they tell me what to do and I do it.
Tell me about what success means to you and not based on what the industry deems as success.
That's good. I mean, to me, my personal success is like I certainly have things that I want to do. Like I want to make my first feature before I'm 30. I want to, work my way up and just get on and just be, like have my networks in each city. I want to have a network in New York, but I want to have a network in London, and I want to have a network in LA, so I can just go wherever I want, whenever I want. So I have like those specific goals of wanting to direct my own projects, and wanting to keep working, have my different pockets in each city. I want to be able to travel with film. Like that's been the biggest joy of doing this job, is being able to, at this point now, I've done work in London, I've done work in Alaska, I've done work in Hawaii, I've been on like awesome travel shoots and everything.
Wow.
So that's also been a huge part of this. But also just personally, I guess, and like with everyone else, like it's just like you just want to be able to live comfortably and be able to like make art and live off that art that you're making comfortably, and like just be able to provide for yourself. And I don't know, be able to like take periods where I can just like not work for like a month and just write, and just feed my craft that way. But I those are the two biggest ones of like right now in the short term, like really want to work on my feature, and then like really want to expand into other cities, because I love New York, but I don't want to feel like trapped in New York. Like I want to be on like White Lotus season 5, wherever they do it.
I did not watch White Lotus.
I was forced to, and I don't get it. I kind of don't get it.
Season 5, you said?
Season 4 or 5. I know, right? Can you believe it?
That's insane.
These white people get these shows forever.
Dude, I could have sworn I was just hearing about like, the new White Lotus episode, and they were only on season 1. It's crazy to think they're on season 5.
Maybe season 4, but like, I agree. No, I think it is season 5.
Wow.
I know.
Not even, I'm not even talking about the content of it. I'm just talking about like, damn, they made that so fast.
I know. I felt like they came out like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
All these shows.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. And then you discussed how college prepared you for the industry, what success looks like.
Well, one thing I'll add to that is that I feel like ADing, I did have to learn, I don't want to say the hard way, but like learn through experience, because I felt like at NYU I did not learn. There wasn't like a class on ADing.
Okay, so talk about that.
Well, that's like, I mean, I don't want to talk too much shit on NYU on this podcast, but I'll make the generalization about this about a lot of film schools, because I think that a lot of film schools do this. I won't just blame NYU, but I think a lot of everybody wants to be the writer director, everybody wants to be the auteur, and I think that that's what they're trying to breed, is just like auteurs. And it's like, I think that the model for NYU is kind of like a throw spaghetti at the wall kind of model. It's like, we're just going to try to make all of you writer directors and see which one of you makes it. And like, that's our job. But like, there's no specific classes on how to be like an AD or a script supervisor, or I would say what you really learn is like writing, directing. They've got some good cinematography courses, they've got some good lighting courses, but film is so much more than that. They have like SFX makeup, but they don't really have like makeup classes, just like regular hair and makeup. So listen, I understand what they're trying to do, but ADing, I certainly can't attest to I learned by being on set.
Mm-hmm.
I learned by being on set. I learned by making mistakes. I learned by evolving. I learned by watching other ADs and working with other ADs and seconding for other ADs. But I wouldn't say that there was like a course that was like, here is how to be an AD. And, you know, I mean, I'm still using like the spreadsheet formulas that I got from like my production book back in the day, which I've updated and they're evolved. So nobody come for me, but
yeah. Wow. Dope. So what keeps you going in times when you feel invisible or exhausted?
I think that just like there will always be like another opportunity. I think that what is always, I mean, it's a little bit more dire now, obviously, with the rise of AI and everything. But
oh my gosh. Wait, so I don't mean to cut you off. I would love to hear your take on that.
Oh my God.
I'm
gonna cash in my one curse word. Fuck AI. Like, genuinely. I mean, it's terrible. It's ruining the whole. Filmmaking is an art form. It's a medium. Yeah. Just like with all other forms of art. Like, and to now think that everything is going to be computer generated. There's no human touch to this or feel to this. I just saw something that somebody was complaining about how a filmmaker, I think they were complaining about how Josh Safdie used real background in the back of like Marty Supreme, and that cost them money. And they could have just AI generated the hundreds of people in the background of the shot.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about how it could save you money.
No, yeah. I mean, that's the whole incentive. Is that it's like we don't have to pay people to do anything. We don't have to pay actors. We don't have to pay background. We don't have to pay a crew. You know, we can just computer generate this whole film. And we don't even have to pay somebody to write it. We'll have AI generate the whole script. You know, like it's really alarming and it's really scary. But it's starting to infiltrate in little ways, just like, again, like not hiring background artists to be in the background of shots. We're just going to AI generate them. I mean, I've done enough work now where I know people who solely live off being background artists, who are like professional background artists or professional stand-ins. You know what I mean? Who like that's their kind of gig of like, yeah, just doing that. And like that's like their meal for the day or whatever. So it's really, really alarming to just I mean, I'm sure every art form is scared. I'm sure like the music industry is scared. You know, I'm sure everybody's scared. But it's, yeah, I mean, it's just a way to cut corners. It's a way to save costs. I don't know. I don't believe in it. Death to AI. For sure.
Damn,
death to all of them. Even like college kids, like writing their essays and stuff and like AI. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I remember we had talked about that in one of my classes. I graduated 2023, so a year after you. And in my gosh, why don't I remember the name of this class? It was Media Moguls. That's what it was called.
Okay.
I forget the name of the teacher. Forgive me. But yeah, we started talking about that because I was at the very beginning of it when it was starting to infiltrate colleges and be a threat to like paper writing and all that stuff. So I remember that conversation.
It's terrifying. I mean, it's like, you know, again, I certainly the one thing us humans, us meat sacks have left is like the ability to think clear, like critically and like have original ideas and original thought. I don't know. I think about Blade Runner all the time these days. Yeah. That's all I think about is Blade Runner. Just like, and then it just becomes a question of, it's like, are these now with AI and AI making art and everything, like, are they human? Like,
do we gotta pay them?
Do we gotta pay them? Like, when does this become like unethical? Like, I don't know. Hopefully I'm dead before then.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, is there anything else you'd like to talk about on this podcast?
Put yourself out there for everything. Your network is your like life preserve. Like, if ask people to get coffee, you know, ask to read other people's work. Like, art is community. And there are so many times that I've like done work in the past and then like years later got hit up by that person again.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, a lot of consistent work is just people calling you back. Like, I think something I always say to people is like, as long as you show up on time and do good work, like, people will hire you again. Like, just be a good person, be pleasant to work with, be helpful, be smart, be willing to, you know, make something happen and go the extra mile. You know, people see that and recognize that and will want to work with you again for that. And yeah, your network is everything. You know, reach out to old professors, reach out to old classmates, you know, just keep that fire burning of like always, you know, and that's the first one. Don't get caught up in the social media of it all. Obviously, everybody posts their best selves online and always post when they're working. Nobody ever posts when it's like, I haven't worked in 2 weeks, you know, like nobody posts that stuff. So as long as you can keep your eyes on your own paper, I think that is like the healthiest thing. But to some degree, like, you should be watching what other people do. Like, you should be like with the times and like watching other people's work and like checking out other people's work and keeping up to date with your contemporaries, whether that's classmates, fellow artists, other people you know. But don't let it like bog you down or prevent you from creating or make you feel insecure. You know, everybody has their time in the limelight. Everybody gets their 15 minutes. You will get yours at some point, and then it'll be time for someone else. You know, yeah, just be a pleasure to work with. Like, truly, honestly, that will get you hired more than anything. It's just being kind and nice and maybe even a little funny if you can manage it.
Okay, cool. So now we're going to get into the What's the Rate segment. You're going to rate these 1 through 10. No, we're not doing it. And yes, we're here for it for the 10, okay?
Okay.
Number 1 is using Instagram to find career opportunities.
10.
Yeah?
Is that maybe I'm too eager. But I mean Instagram, Instagram is pretty good. I use Facebook more than Instagram, obviously, but that's because a little advice, a lot of the old heads still use Facebook when posting for jobs. So that's a little cheat code here of just like being in Facebook groups, like film production Facebook groups. But Instagram for sure, like I've slid up on people's story and everything. Listen, it's Instagram's the new LinkedIn.
I believe that. I've done a lot of work on Instagram, but also I post like all my projects on Instagram, at least the ones that I want people to see. And that's honestly how I get referred. A lot.
Oh my God. And people share each other's Instagrams all the time and everything.
Yeah.
Like, Instagram is absolutely necessary. I know some people are like, I hate social media, da 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 da. Listen, you can have your business account and then you can have your personal account. You can just have the business account and not post anything about yourself. But I in this day and age, I think it is important to have an Instagram.
Yeah.
I do.
All right. LinkedIn.
Yeah, I've never gotten a job off LinkedIn. No hate.
All right. So is that
That's a 0, I think, for me at least.
Okay. Always saying yes.
Let me say 7. 7 because with like caveats, with like discretion of it's like, again, like I said earlier, like it's not always about the money.
Yeah.
In a way of like they might be paying you a bag, but it's just like you've got a crappy producer or you've got like it's so disorganized that even you can't do your job right because like you have no support. Like that's kind of not worth it sometimes. Sometimes you might be doing something for free. You're not getting paid at all. But, you know, the director, the producer, you know, it might be somebody that you want to work with in the future. The DP might be somebody you want to collaborate in the future. So like I said earlier, like you might be getting paid in networking and making a connection. So it's not always about the money. But I think if there's no like glaring red flags, hell yeah, say yes to everything.
Great. Mentors.
10, absolutely. I mean, I think one of the best things that you can do is look at somebody who is where you want to be, and somebody who's like 5 years older than you and is where you want to be. Your success is built on, like, I get to stand on all the people who helped me out. You know, like I am the sum of all of these people who I've had in the past who have given me advice, allowed me to advance forward, taken a chance on me, given me an opportunity, hit me up in my darkest, brokest hour. You know, like I'm the sum of all of that. So mentors, 10 out of 10, 100.
Non-paid projects.
Yeah. Again, it comes back to
yes.
I'll say the same thing if it's like it's not always about the money in this way too. If it's like I sometimes you gotta help out the homies.
Yeah.
You know, if it's a homie, I'm happy to, you know, with some limits, you know, you gotta have boundaries, obviously. And
yes.
I think one of the most important things too, is telling people what you're worth. Mm-hmm. I think that's one of the biggest things that I've learned is telling people like, hey, I don't work for less than this. Hey, this is my rate. Now, granted, you've got to build up your resume before you can start making claims like that. Like you can't have one short film under your belt and be like, I want 600 a day. Like, come on. But once you get to a point where you've kind of established yourself enough, absolutely, you tell people what you're worth and you tell people, I'm sorry, that rate is too low for me. I can't do that. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, so, but unpaid work, it's not always, again, like unpaid. Right. You get paid in other ways. You can get paid in other ways.
Okay. So we're rating that
I'll rate that like a 5.
Okay. Working your way up.
10. Oh my God. I'm 10. The queen of that. I mean, listen, like we unless you are a Nepo baby and have some family connection, you're working your way up. So 10.
And the last one is fame.
Ooh. I'll say for fame, I'll give that a 5.
Okay.
Because it obviously, like, to some degree, we all want to be acknowledged for our work. We all want to be recognized. That shouldn't be, like, your driving force, obviously. But, like, who can deny that? Obviously, like, you draw a pretty picture, you want mommy and daddy to put it on the fridge, you know? Like, it just makes sense. But fame... I remember at NYU, like, one of the first things that they said to us during orientation was they were like, if you're here to just win an Oscar, like, you should not be here.
You're not gonna last.
Like, statistically, like, numbers-wise, like, I don't, like, that might not happen for you. So, fame shouldn't be, like, the driving force behind your creation, obviously, but I don't think that there's anything wrong with wanting to be acknowledged and like wanting to share your work and have people like it. Like that's like a natural human instinct. But fame should never be the goal. You should absolutely do it because you love it. You should be in this industry because you love it, because this is certainly not like again, unless you're a Nepo baby, like this is certainly not like the most lucrative. Girl, you could have gone into like computer science and helped out the AI heads. Like you could, if you're here to make money or be famous, there's like so many other things you could be doing.
All right, Rebekah. Well,
oh my God,
where can the people find you?
Oh my God, you can find me on my Instagram, I guess, at Rebekah Strauss. I guess like my short film that came out was Rotten Meat. Came out a while ago though. That was like a 2021 like COVID short, but it's still a baby. I'm still very proud of it. Yeah. My music videos are by Carly Ann. They're available on YouTube, Nunca Mamaste and Brujeria. And I'm continually always putting out work. You can hit me up if you ever need an AD or a writer, director. Like, I'm always here.
Great. All right.
Well, thank you for having me. This is so fun.
Yeah, thank you for being on. And thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of What's the Rate? We'll see you on the next episode.